You build the app and your online ordering company makes a change, guess what? You're gonna have to coordinate that with the mobile app.
Your menus, if you have a larger menu, so you end up with multi-page menus, which from a user experience aren't as great.
Pictures and the role of pictures and how to use that, because DoorDash, Uber Eats, all of these guys are heavily picture driven.
The digital experience is a place to find the balance between creativity but utility, and you can't forget the utility.
It's not that complicated. You just gotta think through it and put yourself in the shoes of the guest. Like you go to restaurants.
I like DoorDash's system of communications.
That makes a huge difference because everybody else either doesn't have the experience, doesn't have the know-how, or doesn't have the right systems to be able to measure and fix these issues.
What do you think people would think? If I have a button that says add and you're worried that people aren't going to know what it is, what do you think they're going to think it is?
Do invest some money, because that allows you to be different. And by being different, it allows you to get an unfair advantage and to beat the competitors that are all using the same thing.
You need to do that digitally too. So like order your menu by popularity and profitability and get the order right and adjust it. You have the ability to adjust it on the fly because you don't have to run 10,000 menus print. It's instant, you're good. So move it around to try, like it's all about squeezing the incremental dollars out of average order values as well as just in general. Get more items in the cart. So you want to be seeding that as much as possible without impeding on their desire to order the thing. Kind of a clunky sentence, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that makes sense. And so looking at mobile responsive, to sum it up, order, and actually that's a great point, like create your order based on profitability, popularity, which again, DoorDash, Uber Eats do that. When you go in, it's like, hey, featured items, right? So it's easier. That's what most people order. And you're 100% right. Like you could digitally change that menu around 3 times a day if that's what you want. You could do it 15 times a day. It doesn't matter.
And I would prioritize the top 3 of any category. The
Oh,
top
interesting.
3 items, push them to the top, because after the 3rd item, people are scrolling, but they're going to be super interested about those first 3, and then you start to probably wane a little bit. Like they might get a little bit annoyed, like, oh, where is what I'm looking for? So I would push your popular, your profitable to the top 3, and then there's a 3rd one that not a lot of people talk about that's really important, is the perception drivers. So the former president of TGI Fridays sort of brought this to life. We had a one-on-one mainly because I said mean things about TGI Fridays in press. So he invited me to a one-on-one, which was definitely threatening, but he was great. Nick Shepard is his name. But he mentioned, he's like, one of the worst sellers on the menu at that moment was the ahi tuna nachos. Hot, very expensive because it's tuna, didn't sell that well. But because they were on the menu and it had an elevated sound and look to it, it elevated the perception of everything else around it. And that's actually a critical part of a menu. So a lot of menu engineers will say, get rid of the thing that's not profitable and also not popular. But if that drives up the perceptions of the other things on the menu, then it's critical that it's there.
I see. So because that's high perceived value, then you automatically assume that everything else is higher value, etc.
That's right. It's subliminal, but it is powerful.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's drill into mobile apps. Are mobile apps dead? Or are they dead for restaurants? Are mobile apps dead for restaurants?
I think that we want to think that mobile apps are more important than they really are. So I sort of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but mobile apps are critical for certain restaurants, and those restaurants are high traffic, high frequency restaurants. I think you need it. Starbucks, pizza restaurants are a good one as well. It starts to get a little difficult to make the case for mobile apps because what's the benefit to the guest? Again, I'm always going to anchor it there. What's the benefit? Most of your loyalty providers love to talk about a phrase, something along the lines of, loyalty is not an app. And then in their next breath, they're going to sell you on an app.
Mm.
Wild to me. So loyalty exists outside of an app, and yet most of these players want to build an app. And a lot of brands still want to build an app. So if you look at the data from what I've seen at a lot of brands, app purchases amount to maybe an average of like 19 or 20% of overall sales. So sure, you don't want to get rid of it. You want to have that deeper connection. I get it. But then you add in the realities of Gen Z, like I mentioned, they're constantly deleting apps. So if you're not a frequent buy and there's not a lot of high traffic at your concept, then you don't have a lot of value in an app. It's just you just don't. Now we build apps. I love building apps. I think they're great. But we're always going to be a group that is very fiscally responsible, and we don't want you to spend money on an app if the juice just isn't worth the squeeze. So the question is that 20% that orders from the app, would they order from your site as well? And the answer is usually probably. And when you have a really good system in place, like you mentioned, you have their phone number, and then you tie everything else to that. That's gorgeous. I love it. Chef's kiss. Because usually the next thing you want to do is like, give me your email address, because email marketing is still powerful. Still gets a lot of return, but you have now those two channels. You have SMS and email marketing. Those are your ways to get the message out. Those are your ways to encourage them to come by. The only benefit an app has is that they don't have to get charged when they get a text message, because you can push it through the app. But really, I think the brands that need an app or will benefit greatly from it are a lot less than people realize.
Yeah, and also like I don't think that cost wise, even the additional cost of the SMSs versus the maintenance of the app, because the app is not just get it done, move, finished. You build the app and your online ordering company makes a change, guess what? You're going to have to coordinate that with the mobile app now.
That's right.
Or your loyalty company makes a change, or you add a new location, or whatever the case may be. Like you're going to have to constantly be maintaining that. But so is your recommendation to go like a really well designed, responsive mobile first website versus a mobile app, or what are you thinking?
That is exactly right. Focus on the website. Make sure it's ace. A lot of your partners out there will build an app for you as a part of their system. We usually say for most brands, just go with it. If they're not charging you more, just go with that and see what kind of traction you get. Now, look, if you're a brand that, let's just say you end up having like a Starbucks like engagement on app, then that's telling you to invest there. Absolutely invest there. But if you're looking at just using round numbers for my brain and lack of maths, 100K for an app or invest 100K back into the site and fine tune and smooth out things, go with the website.
Mm-hmm.
As 80% of your guests are ordering there, go with the 80%. This kind of goes back to a phenomenon I think a lot of restaurant leaders, specifically independents, have, which is this. I think most salespeople have this joke where they'll jump over a 20 to save $1. It's the same theory here. Like, you should focus on the 80% or the 85% of sales. How can you get more out of that? And evaluate the power of the app. Is it really going to be something? Because more and more the youth, as they start to get more buying power, again, they're deleting these apps, or they just forget about them because our apps have like 1,000 apps on them. Our phones do, I mean. And so it's like, is your app going to add value to their life? Are you going to somehow give them something more than just a portal to order? And that's usually what these apps end up being. It's a portal to order. Of course, loyalty is baked in. Outside of that, it's not doing much for me. And so you can see why that benefit exists for a place like Starbucks, where you have a person who may come literally every day, multiple times a day. I want to skip the line. I don't want to think about it. I want to order. I want to walk in. I want to grab my stuff. I want to go. And that's great because that's what Starbucks is all about. But take that to a brand like, let's say, Tupelo Honey Company or Cafe. Great food. More of a sit down and hang out restaurant. Doesn't have a high frequency of takeout orders compared to dining in. And their frequency is not weekly. It's a little longer. Now, of course, we want to get them to come back more, but for them, it's like, why would you invest that money in an app for 20% of not a lot? That
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Because at that stage, the only thing I want to do is join the waitlist, and I could do that through Google.
That's right. You do it
I
through
don't even have
Google.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I could literally be on Google Maps. And actually, Google, I think a lot of people underestimate that still. But I was looking at the metrics, and Google search drives like 40, 50%, and or some number like that. And then the
Yeah.
Google Maps was driving like another 30, 40. Combined, they were driving 83% of traffic to the restaurants.
Yep.
And now we went through that phase over the last year and a half, 2 years, where they reached out and they're like, hey, now the guests can literally join, like the restaurants that use our waitlist reservation app, they can go to Google, search for Longhorn Steakhouse, join the waitlist right from the Google map thing, and
Yep.
not even land on their website. You could literally see the how many people are in line, put in your first actually you don't even need to put in your first and last name with Google because it auto fills it. It knows who you
Right.
are. So you
Yeah.
just literally, it's like, hey, is this you? Is this you? All your information, phone number, first and last name is filled out. Your party is already set to 2. Again, as simple as possible. All you gotta do is just hit join waitlist and it'll add you on there. Same thing with reservations. Now you could just literally click, hey, make a reservation, pick your date, time, and it automatically makes the reservation, pushes it to the restaurant, and you never even left the Google Map app or Google Search app.
That's right. Yeah, or Google Maps on your desktop or whatever you're looking at it on. I think that opens up a really important can of worms for the overall guest experience. And I think I can't underline this enough. We're not talking about a website. We are talking about an experience. And we're talking about an experience that generates anywhere from, on the low side, 10% to the high side, 40% of revenue. It is your number one store. It is your number one store. And without it, your other stores would be not doing as well. So it just, you really have to think about it, but think about the guest journey. Where are they going to learn about your brand? I'll help you. It's not the website. They're learning about it on social. They're learning about it in media, like, written articles. They're learning about it from their friends. They're learning about it from Yelp. They're learning about it from Google reviews. Again, by the time they get to your .com, it is there for one reason. Think about locations. I want to know where the closest Red Robin is. The first thing on my list is not going to redrobin.com. It's
I
going to
agree.
Google.
It's Google Maps. Yeah, that's what I do. And
And if,
again,
if I
they
want to drive
drive.
there, I'm going to Waze. I'm
Yeah.
not going, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree because like I think a lot of people don't think of this from their point of view, like as a guest, not as a business owner. I own the restaurant, great. Yeah, I know what I want, more revenue, all that good stuff. But if you look at it from the guest, like if you're trying to find restaurants around you, you're going to Google Maps and you like there's a reason they have a button that's predefined. That's you click on the thing, it says restaurants, gas stations, coffee shops, uh, because that's what people are searching. So you hit restaurants and it pulls everybody. And don't forget, actually, I read an article that's like, hey, if you're like 3.9 or lower, they don't even show you on the list by default now.
Right. Right.
Like those reviews are going to be critical. So that's yet another added layer, and they're doing that because they want they want to retain that customer for Google, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they keep showing them crappy locations that the guest is like, oh, this sucks, they may switch to another app that will be better, that will do a better job at doing that stuff. So they're also looking for their customers in order to serve them better, make it more and more frictionless, which is what we started with.
That's right.
How do you make it less frictionless? I just mentioned on Google, you could just hit join waitlist. Your first name, your last name, your phone number is already pre-filled.
Right.
All you got to do is just, if you want to go to from party of 2 to party of 5, just make it 5 and hit join waitlist. Literally, for 90% of people, probably one button.
Yep. Yeah. What's interesting is when you get into these like larger brands where there's internal departments, it's so easy to allow the navigation of a site to get completely convoluted, because here's what you really need: menu, order. Like that's it. That's all you need. The rest of it is for those people that want to learn about careers. They know they have to go click that little 3 lines we call a hamburger menu. They know to go there. That's not the number one reason. That's a very small faction of people who also will find your job listings elsewhere. and probably aren't thinking of going direct all the time. Catering, same thing, underneath the menu. Locations, you can even do it there. The only reason we need we need map and location system on websites is because we need it for the conveyance. We need to be able to find you to deliver your food. You need to be able to find a location to tell us where to pick it up. And for that reason, I will plug a partner on this. Apologies in advance, but do not use Google Maps for your commerce website. For a basic website that doesn't have commerce, you're okay. If you're a full custom, you are going to get socked for fees beyond belief. And I suggest using Radar. Radar's a great partner. They have a great maps solution. And I only say that because I don't think that's something you offer.
No, yeah, actually, I'm gonna look. We don't use Google Maps for that specific reason,
Yeah.
because they're just so expensive. Those API
Really?
fees. Most people like I didn't know. I thought Google Maps was like a free service, but it's not. They make their money on a back end, and those APIs are just ridiculously expensive. So thanks for pointing that out. I'm gonna
Thousands of
check them out.
dollars if you're
Yeah.
not careful. Now, on a basic site where you're not having to hit the API often, you're totally fine. You're not going to pay much, if at all, because I think there's a certain amount before they start charging you. But as soon as you have a full custom or an ordering experience, for instance, like these other ordering platforms like Milagro, where I have to go find it and set my location, you're hitting that API often. And
Exactly.
I mean, you know this, but for the people listening, it's like you're getting socked. Radar has been a fantastic partner.
Yeah, I need a little bit more info on that, so
Yeah,
I'll
I'll connect you
get
after the
back to
show.
you.
They're great people. You'll love them.
Amazing. Yeah, I love to connect with those guys. All right. So we talked about digital menu. We talked about that stuff, and then we talked about the sending your guests to third party. Obviously, because if your website is not well designed, if you have too many friction points, then you're gonna lose them to third party. Anything else to add around the user experience so that you don't lose these guests to third party platforms or to competitors?
I mean, honestly, I think that if you do just those things I've mentioned so far, you're ahead of the curve of most restaurants today.
And I don't think we touch base on speed. So let's touch base on that one actually, because I think a lot of people they create all these clunky websites and the speed. I'm looking at some of my notes. Yeah, like because Google actually dings you if your website is too slow. So
100%.
fill us in on that. How does that play in?
For the same reason that you mentioned about the reviews, Google's job is to serve up pleasant experiences that align with your search. So if you're looking for the best burger in the world, they are not going to show you a 2-star burger place. Like, not going to happen. With the website, they value websites that load fast, especially because so many people are looking at them on their phones where we don't have the bandwidth that we get from a desktop. So your website has got to be as lightning fast as possible. It's really easy to check. Just go to search for page speed. Google's page speed tool will come up, type in your URL. It'll give you a report. And I think you're going to be kind of embarrassed. So the fastest way to fix your page speed is to go look at all those photos that we just talked about and save them down, optimize them as much as possible. You can do this in your design program. So have your creative team or your creative partner do it. And let's just say, not getting too granular here, but let's just say you have a small space for a photo that's never going to be larger. Don't make the photo huge.
1080.
Make the photo the same size that you're looking to use it as. And then here's a final trick. Go to tinypng.com and put all of your photos through there, and it'll remove all the superfluous metadata that makes those files large, and it will reduce it without hitting the quality to the lowest possible file size. Do it for all your photos, and you will see a faster load time. You should be speed freaks when it comes to digital experiences. Fast, 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 fast. Faster the
Yeah.
better.
And
We've
actually,
done our site so fast where we actually stopped designing loading screens for clients because we don't need them.
yeah, exactly. And on the photo and the movie stuff, actually Google released a format WebP, web
Yes.
pictures, and then WebM for web movies that just compress those images so much while retaining the quality, which was impressive. The first time I looked at it, compared the two, I couldn't tell which one's which.
That's right.
But one is a tenth of the size of the other one, therefore loads much faster. But
Yep, and I think Tiny PNG can convert. So I think we start getting to those layers, you'll have to have a subscription, but it's really cheap, and the benefits are huge. Along with that, since we're talking about pictures, there's a thing called alt tags when you use a picture on a website. And those alt tags are there to provide a description of what that image is for people that are hard of viewing sight or hearing. No, not hearing, just viewing. So if they have the screen reader, the screen reader is going to read the alt tag. So be very prescriptive with your alt tags, and you have to have them for ADA compliance.
Yeah, and also not to mention for SEO purposes too.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
we didn't even touch base on SEO, but topic for another
And AI,
discussion.
yeah.
Yeah, and AI now, absolutely. Yeah, nowadays it's I'm not I haven't used Google in years,
Yeah.
but I don't go to any search engine. I just go to an AI search and say, how do I do this? How do I fix this?
Absolutely. And I mean, my behavior has shifted as well. Even for dumb things, like the biggest time saver that AI has given me is recipes. Because I got so sick of hearing about Ahmed's long walk on the beaches of Ibiza, and upon that walk with his dog and his significant other, he stumbled upon codfish in the like. Just give me the freaking recipe, man.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And AI does it. It's like, here's your recipe. I'm like, thank you. That's all I wanted.
And exactly right. Like even internally with my staff, I'm like, look, cut the fluff. Just tell
Yeah,
me what it's about. Like I don't need to know the intricacies. If I need to know, then I'll ask.
yeah. Let
But
me go deeper. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Like I'm not on vacation. I'm on business trip. Like
yeah.
give me the end result, and just let me just get my goal accomplished and move on. So,
That's right.
any other tips to leave the audience with? This
Yeah,
has
I
been
mean,
super helpful on my side. I'm learning and I love this conversation. So,
yeah.
anything
This has been
else?
great. Yeah, I would say just be very, very discerning when you're looking at your tech partners. I know everyone says this, but take the time to, before you call anyone, lay out what you really, really want and what your KPIs are. And I think what you'll find with good actors, one of which I'm talking to right now, you,
Thank you.
is if you give the like, here's what I'm trying to do, then you'll have someone that can be very consultative. And if they're a good person, they're going to be honest about it too. They're going to say, look, this is where we shine. For this KPI, you might want to look at these other partners. We have it, but it's not going to be as good as this for what you're talking about. That's the gem. I think too many leaders, they don't they think the planning is also dictating what the program is. It's like, I want more engaged guests with higher frequency. Let your partner help you understand how to get there. Don't come to them and say, I need a loyalty provider that has an app. It's like, pause. What do you need? What do you really need? What are you trying to do? And then you can actually find really good partners. The final one is, if you are a restaurant that is, breaching the 40 unit mark, or at least 5 million in first party sales, you're starting to get into the economics where out of the box systems, with minor brand adjustments, maybe won't be the best choice, especially if you're growing. If you're growing, you are looking at a world where full custom will start to see an economic ROI within months, if not weeks, if done right. And so that's the other side, is like, don't fall into the trap of easy and cheap all the time. We're beyond it now. And the reason is like, if everyone's doing easy and cheap, then you're all getting the same system, which means you're creating a homogenous experience. There are some benefits of that. Like, for instance, DoorDash has altered our behavior and trained people on what to expect, as has, you mentioned Amazon, as has Shopify sites. So when we're looking at best in class UX, we're looking at those places that have set paradigms that people have become accustomed to. And if you follow those paradigms, but then find ways to inject your brand, that's the money. That's where you're really, really shining. The digital experience is a place to find the balance between creativity, but utility. And you can't forget the utility. I think too often brands try to get too cute. And back to what we were saying, like, I don't care about your long walk on the beach with your dog and your significant other where you found the codfish. What I
Yeah.
care about is the codfish and how to make it. And so that's the same thing. I don't care about your mascot when I'm trying to complete my order. Get out of my way. Let me do it, please.
Yeah, I agree. And I think great points made on that. And I think just because while everybody else is doing that generic thing, the way for you to stand out is to be different.
That's right.
And that creates an opportunity because everyone's going after that cheap model. Everybody's going after the same template based things, which we do as well. But
Yeah,
we tell our customers, it's like, hey, crawl, walk, run. We're here to get you started, get you growing. Once you grow up, you graduate, go to a professional agencies that they can do that stuff, and we enable them. We give them all the tools to be able to do that. But again, once you're at that stage, do invest some money because that allows you to be different. And by being different, it allows you to get an unfair advantage and to beat the competitors that are all using the same thing, that the user experience is just not there for the guest.
that's right. I mean, the key to brand, and I think this is something that's easily forgotten as well, is no one wants to hear this, but you don't have the best of whatever you're selling. You just have the best for certain people. Which is why like marketing that says we have the best burger it's like you're actually insulting people because a lot of people reading that have a burger that they think is the best.
Yeah.
So you need to come at it from a different angle. So when you're thinking about the digital experience, the one of the utilities outside of the sale is how can I reinforce my position and category within my guest's mind? This is the place I go to when I'm on the run and I don't have time. This is the place I go to when I want to show someone I care about a treat. You have to be able to reinforce that. And that can be done in subtle ways that even an out of the box system can empower you to do. So, what's the messaging when someone completes the order? What happens afterwards? Am I getting a friendly note? Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, come here and rate us well, and we'll give you something extra. Like, just really think about it. Because guests, this may come as a shock. Guests are humans. Like,
Yeah.
we want to be treated like human. We don't want to be talking to robots or cold experiences. And I think if you do the DX correctly, the digital experience, you can create a very human, high touch, warm experience.
I agree. Well, absolutely well said. Like, I'm sometimes puzzled of all these challenges there. And I tell everybody that I talk to, from CEOs to CMOs, and I'm like, listen, it's not that complicated. You just gotta think through it and put yourself in the shoes of the guests. Like, you go to restaurants. Do you want to wait 45 minutes in line when you walk in there? Especially if you spend a ton of money.
Yep.
Now, once you're seated, do you want to wait 17 minutes to order your drinks? That happened to me a while back. And I'm like, 17 minutes just to get my drinks in.
Yeah.
And then once you order your entree, do you want to wait another 30, 45 minutes for it to hit the table? Once you ask for your check, you don't want to wait another 20 minutes to pay for your check and leave. Like, just solve for these things. And that makes a huge difference because everybody else either doesn't have the experience, doesn't have the know-how, or doesn't have the right systems to be able to measure and fix these issues. That makes a huge difference because everybody else either doesn't have the experience, doesn't have the know-how, or doesn't have the right systems to be able to measure and fix these issues that solve those hard problems will absolutely crush it. They'll leave everybody else so far behind that no one's going to be able to catch up. So
That's right.
Alex Hormozy always says that it's like, hey, the harder the problem, the more excited I get because the less people are willing to try to solve that problem.
I love that. Yeah, same. And look, you have the book behind you. You already mentioned it once, but Unreasonable Hospitality, go read it. And then think of the digital experience through that lens. Because just because it's tech doesn't mean it has to be cold.
Yeah.
And if you can deliver a hospitable experience from beginning to end and after through that lens, you're going to be winning and people will feel it. And that's what starts to create preference, which then eventually leads to loyalty and advocacy.
Agreed. Loyalty is not just an app, it's how you treat the guest. Yeah. Don't make me wait 20, 45 minutes in line.
Yeah. And
Anyway.
act like you know me. You know
Yeah,
what I
act
mean?
like you know me. Yeah, like, hey, Joseph, thanks for coming in again. Like, by the way, like, yeah, we could open that can of worms, but
Right.
yeah, like, act like you know me because you already have my phone number. You have to act. You have to use my information in order to better serve me as a guest.
That's
When
right.
I go in, like, I don't want to give you what's your first name, what's your last name, what is your mobile number. It's like, just ask for my phone number. And if it matches on a waitlist or reservation app, great. I know I've been there. You know, I've been there before. Hey, Hamid, welcome back in. If it doesn't match, oh, must be your first time here. Welcome in. Pass that info to the server. And then, like, again, there's so many little things that could be done
That's right.
that just completely sets you apart than your competitors. You just got to do it. And by the way, it's not going to be easy, right? If it was easy, everybody would do that, and then you wouldn't have any advantages on that side. But do the hard things, because once you figure those out, everybody else is different, and you're completely different than everybody else, and that puts you in a unique advantage, in a unique position to maximize, which at the end of the day, why are you doing this? To
Right.
increase revenues, right? Like, you're trying to make more money, you're trying to be more profitable, and the only way to sustain that business is to solve these hard problems, make it less and less friction for the guest, and that solves all your problems. Money solves all problems in a business.
It's true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you're 100. It's funny because I order a 16-inch pepperoni pizza every Friday with two cannolis from the same place every Friday. You would think around 4:30 or 5 p.m. on a Friday, I would get some sort of notification from this, like, you want us to fire it? Do you want to add some drinks to that? Do you want to add another appetizer? We're ready to go. Because I guarantee you, like, 9 times out of 10, my answer would be yes, go.
Yeah, just
You know?
make it one click.
Yeah.
Imagine that text that comes in, but like, hey, notice you do that every Friday. Should I fire that up? Like,
Yeah.
imagine the experience, right? Like,
Absolutely.
that is off the charts. I think we're eventually gonna get there. I've said this before. I think I've said this, that by end of the decade we'll have a series of billionaires made in the restaurant space, and the reason they're going to make it is because they're going to do things like that.
That's right.
They're not going to be an inbound driven restaurant. They're not going to wait for the guests to come in and order. They're going to do exactly what you said. They're going to be proactive outbound marketing machines that text the customer, or maybe calls them, or like whatever, some sort of an outbound notification that says, hey, Joseph, it's Friday. Should I fire that order with a
Yep.
pepperoni and two cannolis? Because that's what you do every single Friday. And you say yes, done. By the way, AT&T does that today. Like, they
Yep.
send me a text and it's like, hey, your bill's due. Do you want to pay the current amount, the full amount, or a custom amount? And I just have to do 1, 2, and 3. If I hit 1, it automatically processes the payment. I don't have to do anything. I get a text, I hit 1, and then send. That's it. Payment processes.
It's yeah,
So
so easy.
frictionless.
Yep.
Yeah, so easy. Like, you could do that in a restaurant. And I think the guys who master that technology, the guys who actually do that, will absolutely crush it, because now you're not waiting. Well, Joseph forgot, or he went somewhere else, and you don't even give him an option to go anywhere else, right? Because
Right.
you just build that behavior so well that they just hit yes. It's so convenient. And again, never underestimate the power of convenience. That's why people go to DoorDash, Uber Eats, and pay 30% more, because of that convenience.
Yeah, and I can seal this one with a lovely stamp. The reason why that pizza company doesn't do that is because they're on DoorDash and they don't have the opportunity to do that. They probably don't know.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. You need the third parties, but yeah, that's that. You just don't have that user experience built in house, and yeah, you're
That's right.
funneling, or you're renting the guest from these platforms, and without them,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
it's a
difficult.
shame.
Yeah. Anyway, Joseph, this has been an absolutely amazing topic of conversation. I follow you on LinkedIn. I highly recommend people watch your videos on LinkedIn. They're very informative. They're very tactical. That it's like, hey, this is how you need to do that. How to do these things. So, where do people find you?
Yeah, find me on LinkedIn. I'm very easy to get a hold of. I'm the only Joseph Szala out there. So just do a search. I usually will accept most invitations. Please don't hard sell me.
Yeah.
Just if you send me a message after I accept and you try to sell me, I'm probably just gonna remove you as a friend. It's getting that bad on LinkedIn. Find me there. You can also, if you don't mind, you can cut this out if you need to, but you can find me at QSR FSR Evolution this year. If you use the code Joseph VIP, you will get $100 off your registration. It is a fantastic, fantastic conference with a lot of amazing people, and I can't say enough. But I'm moderating two panels, and one of them is right up your alley, Ahmed. It's going to be future casting what's coming in the restaurant industry for tech. So I'm really excited for that panel. And then the other one is the great omni-channel balance, which we kind of talked about here. So great people in those panels, a lot to learn, and that's just two of many panels at this show that you're going to love.
Absolutely. Amazing. And again, thank you again for being on the pod.
Absolutely. Thank you.